This is my 2003 Honda Accord Euro that I just purchased. It was the cheapest Honda Accord Euro in Australia. Let's take a look and figure out what I've bought.
This Honda Accord Euro is a 2003 model, meaning it is over 21 years old now. Being that old, it is starting to show its age, and with a whopping 430,000 kilometers showing on the odometer, there is definitely age to show that wear and tear. Although there is lots of kilometers on the body, the engine and gearbox are showing great shape and they perform very well with only minor issues that will be mentioned in the video. I picked the car up for 1,600 Australian dollars with a whopping 10 months rego, which is unheard of in this condition.
So there's a few things on this car that did not come on it that I've already put on it. So let's take a look and figure out what I've done already. So as we get close to the car, you can see that it is already sitting on these 16-inch Honda S2000 wheels that I put on. I picked them up for a great deal, and they have Yokohama tires, and the tires that were on this car were actually quite new, but they were a very bad brand, and one of the wheels was completely dented. So I picked these S2000 wheels up really cheap. I could not say no. And the other thing I've done on the exterior is install, this sounds silly, install one lowering spring. That is because the car came with 3 installed and 1 in the boot. Make it make sense. I couldn't figure it out either. So I've installed the 1 lowering spring that I had to put in. So now it is sitting quite low. And the other thing that is modified to this car, which came on the car, if we come around to the back here, you can see that this car has a custom exhaust, I guess you could say. It has mufflers, aftermarket mufflers with 4-inch turn down tips. And as you can see, it has the rear lip delete. That's because it came with a rear lip, but the previous owner traded the rear lip for the lowering springs. Yeah, there's a lot of questionable things about this car. That is just some of them. Another thing you can tell is, I mentioned this was a 03 CL9, and it has this 07 front bumper, which is not very held on well, as you can see with this grille too. Yeah. So along with the exterior, we also have some interior problems. So let me show you just a quick glimpse of what's wrong on the inside. This. But under the bonnet of this mighty beast is the K24A3, which has 190 horsepower and is a favorite engine in the Australian Honda scene. This engine does have 430,000 kilometers. I'm not joking. But it is on all health. I believe it's been regularly serviced. There is no VTC rattle on cold start, which is very unusual with these cars. As you can see, it's got a quite questionable intake, which was actually done by me because the stock filter was completely clogged. Completely clogged. You could not even see through it. It was just insane. It looked like it has been neglected recently, but before that, I think it's had a pretty good ownership. So this car does have a few problems, and that is when this car gets warm, turned off and turned back on, the belt will squeal until the car is at lower RPM. As soon as you're accelerating and the RPMs are quite high, you get a nice squeal, and there's actually a loss of power and bucking, which I'm not sure the cause yet. I believe it to be the alternator, but we will dig into that into future episodes. All good. Now, another gremlin with this car. When I bought it, until literally probably 10 minutes ago, the ABS VSA lights have been on, which we thought was a wheel speed sensor, and that is usually the cause. The lights have just turned off. No idea why. I'm thinking it is somewhat to do with the belt issue, and it may be something to do with the alternator, but we will dig into that and find the cause. Let's take the cheapest Accord Euro in Australia for a drive. So what is it like on the road? Well, there's some good points and there's also some bad points. So as I mentioned, there is the belt squealing problem that comes with the loss in power. So if I accelerate here, you get a nice squeal. It does not sound good. And it's not only just on the acceleration, it's while you're on DXL as well. So you got to try and keep the revs low. Otherwise, you get people looking at you, giving you weird looks, which sucks. So it is worth mentioning, this is not exactly how I bought the car. So I did have to replace the knock sensor as it had a constant check engine light after it was warm, which I knew was a knock sensor. And I ended up getting one for $17 on eBay. And yeah, it fixed my problem. And I've also had to adjust the clutch pedal because the clutch pedal was terribly adjusted and the clutch would bite on the floor and have about this much travel, which is no good for any part of the clutch. So I adjusted that pretty much straight away when I got the car, and so far, so good. I don't know if you can hear it there, but squealing, it's embarrassing. I never thought I'd say that behind the wheel of an Accord Euro. So if you watch this channel more than once, you will know that we have had a few videos on the Accord Euro, and there's even a video which I'll link up here, which shows you just how much I love the Accord Euro and why I think it's underrated. So I think they're honestly a great platform. This one will be getting some weight reduction and some track performance modifications. But for now, we just need to sort out the few issues that it's having, and then it will be ready for a little rip around the track. Stay tuned on the channel. This is going to be it for this episode of Valve House, and we'll have more videos of this car and other cars coming up soon. Ready? I bought the cheapest Honda Accord Euro in Australia, and this is what it looks like. So let's have a look at the car and see what we've bought. Hang on, stop.